If there's only one thing you take away from this entire video today, it's that your life and perspectives can be transformed for the better just by moving and living across different continents. So maybe you feel stuck in low gear, uncertain, scared, unhappy, and unable to take any action. You feel frustrated. You feel that there's nothing you can do, but that you're stuck in one place. Today, we'll be going over 3 main lessons I learned after moving as a Caribbean national, moving from Jamaica, moving to the United States of America, moving to Ghana, West Africa, traveling to several other countries within Europe, Latin America, and the Caribbean, and the lessons I learned after spending substantial time in various continents. And I'm going to share the lessons I wish I had known before taking the journeys in the first place, only because I could have been better prepared and might have gotten to a much better place more quickly. There's actually so much to learn when relocating overseas. So in the video, we will share some nuggets and guidelines, a navigation system that will help you as you pursue the journey. If you are interested in learning more about the mindset required to handle the challenges and make the most of moving abroad, or just curious about my journey as a Jamaican relocating to the US, to Africa, and experiences within Europe and Latin America, then please stick around with me. If you are new here, I am Angie Marie, and living across multiple continents has taught me how to survive and to thrive anywhere, and so I'm sharing it with you. We will look at what you need to know about the people you will meet along the journey. Next, the mindset required. And finally, a very important challenge that is absolutely necessary to survive and thrive in an unfamiliar environment. If this is your first time, I want to welcome you to this channel. Today, we'll be going over my story, what I learned, what I did as a Jamaican who rose to the top of my career in consumer affairs in an amazing institution where I became the top of the agency, the chief executive officer. And then I took a decision for family reasons to relocate to the United States of America, got my culture shock. And then the story continued until I was able to locate an amazing Wall Street opportunity, remained there for 14 years. And the journey subsequently took me to Ghana, West Africa, where I spent some time. In today's video, my loves, I'm going to share with you the 3 main secrets that I learned that transformed my mindset, my attitude, my life experiences. So I invite you to stay with me. So let's dive in. Number 1 is a very good, strong network. When you move overseas, you're going to meet different types of people. 3 types of people you're likely to meet, depending on how long you're there and your personality and whether you're willing to meet and open yourself to people. You're likely to meet these 3 types of people. The people who are givers, the people who are takers, and the people who do not care, neither give nor take. Now, warning. One of the things I'll say to all of us is that the people who are givers and the people who are takers really do not have limits. And so we have to be careful about how much we extend ourselves. We have to assess their character, their personality, their nature. And while not judging, right, because we don't want to judge, but we also have to open our eyes and accept the reality and the truth about human beings and human nature. And here is something I'm going to warn us all about. Because we have that tendency when you move overseas to shut out people from other nations, other cultures. And some of us feel that we can only survive and thrive with our own. Now, I'm not going to discredit our own people. We need our own people as well. But remember this, you chose to move to a foreign country. And your survival, your excelling there will depend largely on who you have on your crew. Today, you may be feeling stuck, uncertain, fearful, but something in your guts is telling you that you belong somewhere else, that you need to make a move somewhere else. When I relocated from Jamaica to the US, it was a time when I was at the top of my career. I was doing very well, making very good money, I was in charge of consumer protection, consumer affairs, consumer education in Jamaica. It was a very responsible job that took me traveling to various countries to speak to groups at conferences. And it was also a time when I was selected to be the head, the chairperson of a committee that was responsible to help with consumer affairs, consumer protection, consumer education within the English-speaking Caribbean. So I had some intense responsibilities. I was living a very affluent lifestyle, doing good. Children doing very well in school, going to great schools back in Jamaica. Now, when I decided to make the move, my mom wanted me to relocate to the US. And I will tell you, it was also a time after a divorce. And sometimes circumstances such as divorce can cause us to make decisions that we probably would not have made if we did not encounter situations such as a divorce. Life circumstances kind of convinced me that I should make a move. Now, I don't know what your particular situation is, whether you're disappointed in relationships or whether you're not moving in your career or what is happening in your life that's telling you that where you're at is not good enough, that you need to relocate and go somewhere else where you could do better. So I picked up and I left and moved to the US. When I moved to the US, though, I had a serious culture shock because one of the things I thought was that as an economist, as someone with great qualifications and experience, that I would not have a difficulty finding a suitable job in the US. However, when I moved, a lot of things happened. If you watch different videos of mine, you'll see that, for example, a contractor that I sent money to help me build an apartment for myself and my children took the money and left, and I could not find him anywhere. So that was one of the first things that happened, which was a big disappointment. I ended up losing a lot of money. But at that time, I could not go back because I no longer had my job. So I had to keep going. Now, for you, do you find yourself stuck in neutral? It's like you're driving and you're in park. You need to put that vehicle in motion. Put it in first gear, then move to second gear. And let's keep moving. So that's what I did. I said, oh my goodness, whatever has happened in the past, it's behind me now. I cannot make a turn back to Jamaica. I already pulled my kids out of school. We've already registered them in private schools in the US. We have to find a way to keep going. And so I kept going. The first thing we need to understand is the importance of community, the importance of network, guys. The importance of people. For us to make a step forward, we all need people. We are not islands. So when I moved to the US, it was a culture shock. I could not believe what had happened. My first job, thankfully, thank goodness, I was blessed and fortunate to have landed a job. No, it was not the job I wanted, not with the pay rate that I wanted. My job position was department manager. And in my mind, as a manager back home, you manage people, you supervise people, and you make decisions. When I moved to the US, to be specific, my department manager position was not what I imagined it would have been back in Jamaica. So the first thing that happened was when I was in charge of a particular department it was a store, a retail store. And so I said to my team, the first few days, I said, so who do I call when I need to pull these boxes down and get these things on the floor and so forth? And they said, there's no one to call. You have to do it. I said, what? Because in my culture, back in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, from what I knew, women are cutesy and demure, right? We don't lift boxes, cut boxes, pull pallets or crates, climb ladders, pulling down stuff. This was new to me. Even there was a time when I did inventory and I needed to use a hammer to get a particular shelf in order. I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? A total culture shock. There was no man to call to do this and that for you. As the manager, you are gonna have to put your regular clothes on and get going, girl, woman, lady. So that was my experience, climbing ladders. Back in Jamaica, the ladders I climbed were breaking glass ceilings and being promoted to as head of different departments, climbing and rising. That was the kind of ladder I was accustomed to. But when I moved to the US, now it's a different sort of ladder. Physical ladders that you shake it too hard, you could fall and hurt yourself. But I have never fallen and hurt myself while on my job. I had to understand that it's a different country, different environment, and here's where I went wrong. I did not do enough research. It was later on that the research came where I realized that the truth is, when I just moved, it took years to become a citizen of the United States. The United States has over 300 million people. I'm coming from a country that has less than just 3 million. The United States have people who went to school here, very qualified. Why would they give certain types of jobs to an immigrant who just came? So the truth is, when you just move to the United States or to Canada or North America or many of these countries, you have to understand that regardless of how qualified and experienced you are, very often you have to start from ground zero and gradually move up that ladder. It is the truth. But here's the other thing. You need to know people. You need to have networks and connections. And I know some of you watching me might be saying, I don't love people. I'm an introvert. I can't connect with people. Keep watching my channel because I will share with you how to connect with people instantly and why you should. When I tell people that I'm not naturally an extrovert, they don't believe me. I don't see myself as an extrovert. Maybe I could be an ambivert. But many times I feel that I tend to be more of an introvert than an extrovert. I don't know. What do you think? But the truth is I do love people, and for me it's easy to connect with people. And now it is easier to connect with people because of this vast experience that I've had moving about and getting connected with people from Latin America, the Caribbean, Africa, United Kingdom, Eastern Europe, which was the Ukraine, all over. So now I understand that people are people and we all have the same basic needs. Now, yes, we do need to exercise wisdom in terms of knowing who to include in our inner circles and to be wise as you would even with people who you consider to be your close friends. But still, we understand that people are people. Every day when I'm going to work now in customer service, I do a prayer like this. I say, God, give me the strength as I go to work today. I know I'm going to be meeting people. Help me to be a blessing to someone. And when I see people, I see a person, I don't see the color of the person's skin. My spirit sees someone who is striving to take care of their family and someone who may have real problems, real issues, real struggles. That just a smile from me that costs me nothing, just a warm greeting that costs me nothing can help to uplift that spirit. And so many times these people would thank me. They're like, my goodness, whenever I come here, I have to see you. Here is the thing. After 2 years working that department manager job, I gave myself a deadline. I said, if by December 31st of that year, I am not in a better position where I can be able to take care of my expenses and live the way I know I'm supposed to live, I'm out of here. So I gave myself that deadline, and when December 31st came, it did not happen. Guess what, my loves? January 7th of the next year, I was on a plane. I applied for a job. I found economists and those types of jobs back home, and I applied for the job. So on the 7th of January that year, I was on a plane from the United States to Jamaica. And thankfully, I got the job. Now, it was funny. I can tell you this. I landed on the Thursday. Well, I had applied for the job, landed on the Thursday. The Friday, I got a call when I'd submitted my application. I got a call, can you come in on Saturday? Now, normally I don't expect to have an interview on a Saturday. But this particular case, they wanted me to come in on a Saturday. They needed to hire urgently. So I went in for the interview that Saturday. My loves, would you believe that I had the interview the Saturday, and by the following Tuesday, I started training for that job. So I was hired right away. The second in line to the CEO. You see, God? And I was able to take care of my bills in Jamaica at the time, in addition to take care of my children in school in the US. I had interviewed for the Wall Street job a substantial period of time before that, but it took a long time. It was while I was back in Jamaica that now they were ready to hire me. So I spent 6 months in Jamaica, and when Wall Street said, yes, we're ready for you now, I knew I had to go because my children were in school in the US, and that's where I really needed to be. It's just that I couldn't be there and be struggling without having a proper job. So I'm saying all of this to you, my loves, to say this. We are not trees that are planted and set in a particular place. If things are not working for you and you're not in a position to be able to eat, to be able to pay your bills, to be able to take care of your family, why not move somewhere else where you're able to do that? Okay? And now, well, I'm assuming that you would have set the framework in terms of your qualifications, your jobs. You would have had good footprints and fingerprints wherever you've been working, so people can give good recommendation. You have connected with different networks, community of people. You treat people well so that life will bring back to you what you give. There's no bad karma. You have good energy, good aura about you. You love. Let me tell you, when you do that, life has a way of opening doors. But the first point I'm trying to make is that we do that through people. One of the things I've learned from living in Ghana, living in the United States, living in Jamaica, and connecting with people, a lot of people from different cultures like Latin Americans, Hispanics, Haitians, people from different cultures, Cubans, and so forth, is that we all have the same basic needs. But people always appreciate when you're able to say some words in their language. Okay, for example, if I'm able to say machi to a Ghanaian, they're so happy. And if I'm able to say bonjour, bonsoir, vous parlez Creole, comment ye, to a Haitian, they're so grateful. If you are not Jamaican and you are able to say to a Jamaican, wagwan, my friend, wagwan, we are so grateful. It takes just a little effort, not too much, just to learn some key phrases that will help. And so some of my videos share some of this. How do you say this in this language? How do you say that?
I have Angie here. She's Jamaican, and she would like to know how to say some words in Haitian Creole.
Soursop.
Soursop. Kosol.
Okay.
Kosol in Haitian Creole.
Kosol.
Kosol.
Kosol, okay. Breadfruit.
Breadfruit. Lambridab.
Lambredam.
Lambridab.
Lambredam.
Lambridab.
Okay. Okra.
Okra. Kalalu.
Kalaloo. Now in Jamaica we have kalaloo, which is different from okra.
Oh.
But you say kalaloo for
Kalalu
okra.
is okra.
Oh wow. Okay.
Haitian Creole.
Okay. Pineapple.
Pineapple. Anana.
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 Anana. Sounds easy. Anana.
Anana sounds pretty good. Then
Anana sounds
then
good.
pineapple.
Oh, cool.
Anana.
Mango.
Mango. Mango.
Oh, it's the same
Mango.
thing.
Mango.
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 Mango. Mango.
Mango.
Oh, that's very good that we have the same. At least mango is common,
Mango,
and we call it the same thing. Okay, what about guinep?
Guinep. You call it
Guinep.
kinep.
Kinep.
Kinep. K.
Kinep.
Kinep in Haitian Creole.
Somebody made a mistake. It's supposed to be guinep. You guys made a mistake.
I think we got it right.
No, guys. Which one do you think got it right? Is it guinep or kenep?
Kinep sound better.
I think guinep sounds better.
Kinep sound really good.
Ha! No. You guys got it wrong. It's supposed to be guinep. You guys made a mistake.
I think we got it right.
No, guys. Which one do you think got it right? Is it guinep or kenep?
Kinep sound better.
Grapefruit.
Grapefruit. Shadek.
Shadek.
Shadek. Grapefruit is shadek.
Shadek.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I'm learning here.
Shadek.
Shadek for grapefruit. Okay. What about jackfruit?
Jackfruit in Haitian Creole they call it jaka.
Jaka.
Yes, jaka.
All a part of helping us to understand and connect with people. And as the world grows and changes, we've become a more globalized global world where you never know where's the best place for you and later on for your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. We need to make the world a much better place, my loves, where even when we leave this earth, our offspring and benefit. So that's the first thing, the people component, the networks. I'm so grateful for this lady based on her track record at work on Wall Street, her position, her authority, her influence. She was able to speak to her bosses and said, hey, I can recommend Angie as someone who has integrity, has character, has the skills, has the experience, and can more than do this job. And they listened to her. So when they brought me in for the interview, and I also showed that I was skilled and that I had what they needed, in addition to her recommendation, I got the job. And that's how it works. We all need people, especially in North America. A lot of it has to do with people and connections, people that know people that know people that know them. Okay? Very important. Number 2 is that mindset that says, I can do anything. I can do, will do, spirit will take you anywhere across the world. Now, yes, we need to exercise wisdom. I'm not telling you that you need to move to a place where there is political and social unrest. No, I'm not telling you to do that. But assuming there's peace and calm, and we take the necessary steps to make sure we're secure and we protect ourselves, I'm saying to us that that can-do spirit that says, even though I may be struggling now, this is just for a season, it's temporary. I can do this. I can overcome. And I'm telling you, I have been there where I've hit rock bottom, where I've said, oh my goodness, God, if you don't help me out of this, I don't know how I'm going to come out of this. Financially, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, how am I going to come out of this? And God helped me through prayer and through determination and me saying, you know what, first, my mindset was, I can do this and I will do this. When I decided to relocate from the US to Ghana, it was during a season, it was after the COVID-19 pandemic, when a lot of things went down, things I was doing, making money, froze. My home, I had tenants living there who were not paying, and it was horrible. And I said, oh my goodness, I need to take some action here. What should I do? I know I'll be safe as a woman by myself living in Ghana for a while, maybe for a year or 2. I did not look at hindrances. Spoke to some people there. I said, this is what I want to do. Had their input. And then I was on a plane to Ghana, found me a place to stay and just lived. So what about you guys? There are things that you know you need to do and you're saying to yourself, I don't think I can do this. Sure you can. Yes, you can. Think it through, write things down, make a decision, and just do it. It's just like doing my YouTube channel. I procrastinated for some time, but once I got started and I realized that I was helping people, there are times when I didn't feel up to it. But I got up and I said, you know what, I can do this and I will do it. What about you? Some things that look like problems are really opportunities. So when I left my job in Jamaica, comfortable air-conditioned office, being served coffee in the morning, these beautiful, wonderful people who are always engaging, loving on me. Miss Manning, do you need coffee? Do you need this? Do you need that? Willing to do anything to make sure I'm comfortable as their boss. And then you move to a place where now you don't have anyone to call, no one to serve you coffee in the morning. Yeah, the inside of the store is air-conditioned, but not an office where you're sitting at an executive desk. Not making decisions, and you're thinking, wow, what did I do? Well, later on, I found out that these were all opportunities. So, for instance, I lost some money by a contractor who was shady, who stole my money, and tenants who did not pay, and I lost so much money. But guess what? I gained a lot of wisdom in the process. And over time, God is replenishing and replacing and giving me more, double and more for my troubles. Secondly, everything that happened was part of a beautiful journey that helped to steer me and form me and help me to be more sensitive and understanding of other people, other nations, other cultures. So now as I help customers, I'm a different girl from the one I was when I was sitting in an office being served. I believe all of that, all of the entire journey is all part of a beautiful process of molding and making us into something beautiful. I am so grateful, guys. Don't lose out on opportunities, whatever it is that you're going through. Maybe you gave birth to a child and you're going through postpartum depression, for example, and it's hard. Listen, if you can only keep going, get the help you need, the therapy, watch videos, listen to how other people made it through and internalize. Let your spirit realize that you're still alive. You have a beautiful child to raise. In no time, your children will be grown And all of this is a process of learning. Get the help you need though, and come out like pure gold. Do not allow these challenges to stop you or prevent you from being that beautiful, amazing person you are and are meant to be. A person who is able to help people because you have gone through stuff that other people need to know how to come through. Okay? If only you can see the lessons that life is trying to teach us, that life is trying to teach you, and get yourself unstuck. Go through it, guys. Go through it, and you'll come out as pure gold. I'm glad I didn't give up. If you watch my other videos, you'll see that I've gone through different challenges. I've shared many of them with us here on YouTube. My almost drowning, the car accident, broken relationship, broken marriage. But I've come through as pure gold, and I'm happy for every experience, whether they were positive or appear to be negative. At the end of the day, they're meant to make us better. They're meant to build us. I'm convinced of that. And so the 3 countries I chose to talk about today, by the way, I should tell you this real quick. In terms of Latin America, no offense to any other Latin American country I've been to, but my favorite Latin American country, based on the experiences I had, the food and everything, you want to guess what it is? Guess. Put it in the comment. It starts with an E. It was Ecuador. At the moment, I'm not going to tell you the 5 Latin American countries I've been to, but I'll just say for now that Ecuador was my favorite. And I've met a few Ecuadorians on my job recently, and I've told them, oh my gosh, I've been to your country. Yo he visitado su país. Yo quiero Ecuador. Es guapo. Yo quiero tu país. I love Ecuador. And they're like, really? Wow. Listen, my loves, connecting with people is so natural once you genuinely feel and appreciate all the things, the experiences you have had in your life. I'm super grateful for everything that has happened. Yes, it sounded bad in the beginning when I talked about leaving my job, and I felt, oh, people are going to judge me and think that I was crazy to have given up. Listen, you never know. Who knows? Maybe I'm still alive today because of the decisions I made to relocate. You never know. My children now are more exposed. We got exposed to all these scholastic exams. To get into college, the SAT and knowing how to do SATs. The LSAT, LSAT, I did the LSAT, law school admission test, and I did well enough in the LSAT to have been able to go to law school for a period of time. The MCAT from medical universities, one of my daughters had to do that and pass and do well in the MCAT so that today she could complete her medical degree and move on as a resident. And all these tests, all my daughters had to go through the college testing system and process. And they should be able to help other people who may even need help with that. When they have their children, they can help their children and their children's children in terms of, if you decide to stay in the US, what is required to rise in terms of academics, in terms of education and university life. So it's all about learning. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the experiences, the wisdom, everything that my life of travels has helped me to accomplish. How about you, my love? Don't sit there and be worried and saying, well, I'm stuck, I don't know. Move it. Move it. You'll be all right. For me, were there moments of disappointment? Absolutely. Absolutely. You can imagine what happened when I came and I saw that I lost money or things were not going well. Of course, there were moments of disappointment, but guess what? The good far outweigh the bad. In my experience, I've had so much more good in my life than the negatives. So the good does outweigh the bad. So my life was great back in Jamaica, but here's the thing. I understand now the power of the fast forward. Fast forward, it's a powerful thing. Many people go through various experiences. So, for example, for me, it was a near drowning or a car accident. People have died through drowning. People have died in car accidents. I feel that God has been good to me to give me some other chances. So I get to see 10 years later what happens. If you have had the opportunity to be able to fast forward years later, it's good for you. And that's the power of maturity. That's the power of age. That's the power of growing more, you understand more than what you knew when you were 20 or a teenager. So the fast forward is powerful. We should never underestimate the power of that fast forward and use it often. I use it often. I sit down and I go back. I said, wow, this is what happened 10 years later. So I think in 5 year, 2 year, 1 year. So when I'm going through a challenge right now, I see the challenge, but I don't let it get me down or keep me down forever, because I say to myself, in 9 months, in 6 months, in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, this is what needs to happen. And I make my plans to change my circumstances. We all have the power within us to do the same, my loves. The third lesson I've learned from all of this, moving, spending time in the United States, in Jamaica, in Africa, in Ghana, Latin America, Europe, is that you have to have that resilience, that perseverance, that regardless of what challenges you face, you should never, ever give up. I'm going to share with you what happened with me in a particular race as a student on campus. It was my first time taking part in a race of that nature, and to be honest with you, it was my last. So I was always a sprinter, champion girl in my primary school, elementary school as you call it here in the US. I was athletic. I did long jump, high jump, sprint, 100 meters, 200 meters, and tended to be good in various ones. However, one of the things I never did was middle distance to long distance races. So I never did 800 or 1500 meter races. Running, it was always the short races. Now, as a student on campus at my university, I lived on campus, and my hall rep convinced me to take part in a 1500 meter race. I rationalize. As humans, we tend to rationalize things. We said, well, they really need someone to do this particular race. I had gained some weight, and I said, maybe it's better to do a longer distance race now that I have some extra weight on me, because probably I wouldn't run as fast in the 100 or 200 meter races. Because yes, having too much weight keeps you back. You need to be thin and fit to do the dash, the sprint races. So I rationalized it and said, I'm going to give it a try. I did try to run around the ring road on my campus a few times to build up my strength and so on. So the day came when we had the race. My loves, oh, my goodness. The other thing you need to understand is that there are different strategies and techniques that you use depending on what sort of race you are in. Now, we learn all of this as kids where I'm from in Jamaica. That's why we have so many sprinters who are known worldwide to be the best. Usain Bolt, Shelley-Ann Fraser-Price, Merlene Ottey-Page, Donald Quarry, Osafa Powell, and the list goes on. Many, many more. So I got in the race, my loves. You know what happened, right? You can literally predict. Well, first of all, in the end, I lost the race. I was not in the top 3. I didn't come first, second, or third. But here's the thing. Here's the lesson that I want to share with you guys. So as I was going through, after the first 100 or 200 meters, I was already bust. I was struggling. I felt like I was about to pass out. And my hall members were cheering me along. Come on, girl. You got this. You can do it. Don't give up. Keep going. I thought I was going to pass out on that field. I was so dehydrated. I felt so faint. But they said, come on, girl, keep it. And in my head, Angie, you have to finish this race. By all means, just finish the race. And that's what I did. I don't think I came last. Hey, but listen, don't judge me. Even if I came last, at least I finished the race, all right? So I didn't stop. I pushed myself to the end of the race. And to be honest, there were people there waiting for me. When I got to the finish line, I think I literally almost passed out. Someone held me. They gave me glucose and water and probably threw water on me to kind of resuscitate me, because that's how serious it was. So as I said, it was one time I did that long distance race, and it was the last. I won't do it again. Now, I'm saying this to say sometimes in our lives, we rationalize and we make some decisions and we say, well, because of this or because of that, I've gained some weight. So let me just settle with this. Let me just accept this. Let me live in this place. And the truth is, it's not everywhere that's best for everyone. for instance, the three countries I'm focusing on today have their strengths and their weaknesses. Living in America, living in the US has helped me to understand how to survive in a fast-paced environment. How to do it when everything is all about a clock and moving, production, productivity, output for the sake of profitability in a capitalistic kind of society. That's the US. Jamaica has this laid back, no problem mentality where nobody's in a hurry to do anything. Ghana is like that too, where no matter how you complain, and the people can be so gracious and sweet. Okay, madam, I heard you. Could you please take a seat here? And you'd be sitting there and you could complain, you could scream. It's just their culture. It's just their way of doing things. They're not in a hurry, and it doesn't scare them that you're threatening to go report this to management or whatever, because just how it is there. Moving abroad, settling overseas is not for everyone, okay? You need to do your research and be willing to ask yourself some questions, and that's why I have each chapter in this book has 10 simple questions that if you answer yes or no, at the end a score is assigned. Well, a score is assigned to each yes and to each no. And at the end of answering those 10 questions honestly, you give yourself a score. And depending on your score, it tells you if your score is above this amount, this is what it means. If it's between this amount, this is what it means, and so forth. And you can actually determine whether this is for you. So, hey, let me just tell you, moving overseas is not for the faint of heart. It's not for everyone. Okay, that's the truth. Some people should stay in their country, in their village, and rough it through for their entire life. But there are some of us who are supposed to move somewhere else, have the experiences, go through the fires, go through the floods, and come out in full force as a strong person that they're meant to be. All right? Only the strong will survive. That's the truth. If you are surviving in a foreign country, you are among the strongest of the strongest. Friends, one of the things we have to understand is that there's no perfect place here on earth. There's no heaven on earth. Each of us have different priorities and different needs, and we're going to have to decide what is it that means the most to us. And that is why I have created a questionnaire with 10 simple yes or no answers, and each answer is assigned a score. I have a link to that questionnaire, which will help you decide whether you should remain where you are or if you should move elsewhere, okay? Based on the score after you provide your yes and no answers. The link to the questionnaire is available in the description. So for instance, for you, safety might be a big concern, or you may want to be close to family, or you may be thinking that you want to move to a place where there are opportunities for employment. You're a youth, a young person, and you want to build yourself to be able to acquire assets and to, live and make some money. Then that would figure in your decision as to where you relocate to. However, the thing I have to warn you about is that when you relocate, there's always going to be a period of adjustment. Some people will adjust faster because your adjustment time will depend on your willingness to adapt. You're going to find that there are differences in culture, for example, in norms, in practices, in traditions, in beliefs, holidays, laws, rules, expectations. And so, depending on who you are and what you're accustomed to, you may or may not like a particular place because of some of these things. So these are all things you have to consider. So one of the things I would say to us is that we always have to do our research and fully understand the place we're moving to before making the decision. I think that's one of the, maybe I should call it, mistakes I made, because I used to visit the United States every year, twice a year, for vacation, for shopping. But then I've come to realize that visiting a place is much different from actually living there. So the impression when I was working and making money in Jamaica and visit the US, I was able to convert currency and go shopping, buy a lot of stuff. However, when I moved to the US and had to be paying American bills and making American money, I realized that there was a huge difference. So it's important to do your research and also to be realistic in terms of your expectations. One of the things I'd say, though, is that you have to be patient and willing to go through the process. If after you do your research and you're sure that this is where you want to be and then you jump on a plane or you take the leap and move there, then you're gonna just have to keep at it and decide that you're going to adjust. So I'm praying and hoping that you got some good value from this video. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, for sharing your comments, for liking this video, for subscribing to this channel. I wish you all the best in your future actions, whichever decision you take concerning your journey. The aim is to have the peace you need, the love, the joy, the health, the wealth, and all the wisdom that you need to make the correct decision. And as I said, when you make the decision, please remember the importance of community, the human component, the mindset that we need to have in order to survive, and also having that spirit of resilience, that can-do spirit, that regardless of the challenges you face, whether you choose to stay where you are or relocate, there will be challenges, but it's really up to you how to handle it, how to be persistent, how to persevere, and how to come through it like fine gold going through fire. This is Angie Marie. I want to wish you all the best for the new year. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.